Hello and welcome to Community Link. My name is Christian Hoffman, and Community Link is community missions opportunity to talk a little bit about our programs, who it is that we serve and how that we help people, and also to give you, the Niagara County viewers out there, an opportunity to see how you might be able to help us to achieve just that. So I am alongside our President and CEO, Ms. Robyn Krueger. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Thank you.
Good, good. So we are in December right now, so we typically have used this as an opportunity to look back over the past year, and maybe we have not been able to do so for a couple of years. We won't go back too far, certainly. But yeah, this is the first time that we've been able to gather the two of us together and look back in a couple of years now since COVID had hit.
Yes, it has. It's been quite a busy few years.
It certainly has. Well, one thing that I wanted to mention, in particular, one thing that we celebrated here in 2022 is your 45th anniversary here at Community Missions.
Oh,
so
my
I don't
goodness,
know.
Christian.
So I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, how do you even process, or how do you even consider looking back over a 45-year career at Community Missions?
I don't know. When I look in the mirror, Christian, I keep looking and I feel like I see the same person, but 45 years definitely has gone by. The mission has, in many ways, changed exponentially, and in some ways hasn't changed at all. So obviously some programs have come and gone during that time period, so that you see the passage of time more specifically. How we serve our individuals that come to us, it has not changed. It's a very individualistic approach. It's an approach that hopefully gives people what they need at the right time and helps them move forward in their own lives. So there's certainly been a number of probably hundreds of thousands of people that have come through the mission in 45 years. And I am grateful for every single one of those years to be a part of this organization. It really has been a challenging last few years, though, of course, not only for people seeking services, but also for providers providing services. But 45 years almost seems like a blink. I can remember starting, and here we are. So hopefully a few more years under my belt. Don't know if we'll make it to 50 or not, but we're working on it.
Right, of course. One thing I would imagine, at least, the passage of time allows is an opportunity to see growth, and certainly to help people in the here and now. But certainly with your beginning with the youth division and stuff, and those programs, the opportunity to run into people every now and then that you helped 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Right?
Yes, that is very rewarding, and it always comes, at least it seems anyway, at a low period where you just really start to wonder, are you really helping? Are you only putting Band-Aids on things? And then out of the blue, you'll meet someone that has been helped by the agency, and they talk about how you helped put them on a path that helped them move forward. And certainly they did it themselves. They did it with support, but they are always very grateful for what the agency has offered. So it really is light-heartening, and oftentimes comes at Christmas, which makes Christmas time even that much more special.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a neat opportunity, I'm sure, to engage with people and recognize them or not.
Yes.
Probably, as
most often not.
Well, yeah. So let's start looking back a little bit. Try to go somewhat chronologically. We may skip around a little bit, but one of the highlights that I wanted to mention is a gentleman that we've maybe mentioned on here, but certainly have done quite a few notes over the past several years. I started about 10 years ago, and this gentleman started his kind of process about that time. His name's Ange Sarkis. He's a Lewiston resident, and he worked, I believe, about 38 years or so for the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. And he had told me late in his career, basically, he had thought about the opportunity. He didn't understand why maybe high schoolers or somebody looking to raise some funds didn't just go around and collect all the bottles and cans that were always thrown out at many different places as just a fundraiser to fund a prom or whatever it is like that. So upon his retirement, wanted to start doing something himself with that and kind of fill the time. And so his idea was to start collecting those bottles and cans to donate to local food pantries. Thankfully, Community Missions being one of them, and so has really taken off. his
Oh my
Deposits for
goodness.
Food initiative.
He is a machine. He just literally is a machine. And not only does he himself kind of look by the side of the highway and pick things up and out of garbage cans and stopping at gas stations and things like that, but he has enlisted his friends who then call him and tell them they have a load that's ready to go. So over the course of just several years, he has amassed over $100,000 worth of deposits. And what a wonderful way to benefit not only ourselves, but Heart and Soul, and also the Wilson Food Pantry and Ransomville Food Pantry. I believe he's added to his list. So it really does help in this area to make sure that people have something to eat, and something as simple as a deposit, you know, can turn into such a wonderful blessing for people.
It just remarkable. The story I always tell, I was out to lunch actually over at getting a hot dog at Smokin' Joe's hot dog stand, and I'm over here with a couple of community mission staff and a couple of Niagara University staff, and I see Ange drive up in his truck at that time, and he's got his bright pink Deposits for Food shirt on that he had made up, and he was just going around looking for bottles and cans. He kind of got his start at the Smelt Festival, going around, and then really enlisted a lot of Lewiston businesses, Brickyard in particular, all the bottles and cans from Brickyard, and he's moved on to scrap metal as well to help. That's a lot of bottles and cans, and certainly I think he hit over $1 million actually earlier in 2022, and then just after that he hit the $100,000 in bottles and cans. But a big piece of it too, don't want to forget, is Doug Adamson at Porter Empty Return Center. So instead of the 5 cents that all of us, of course, get, Doug was able to work it for Ange to get 5.5 cents.
Oh, how
so
nice.
That helps just a tiny bit, but when you multiply it times $1 million.
Right. It adds up. It really adds up.
It really does. So, I mean, we had a little event over at Heart and Soul in April for the $100,000 that he had raised in total. It worked out. So Community Missions had about $45,000 at that time. So we're probably getting close. He just was here a couple of weeks ago dropping off another check to us. So it's around $50,000. And they say that one man maybe can't make a difference. One man has absolutely made a difference in Niagara County.
Absolutely,
in that way.
yes.
So let's move on. Also in April was our Sweetheart Dinner, which was our 25th
incredible Sweetheart Dinner.
Annual Sweetheart Dinner. The annual part got a little shaky because the past couple of years it looked a little different.
Well, we did try to modify our title a little bit, being April Fool's Day, and only fools fall in love, or something else along those lines. But it's the first that we've had since the pandemic began, because we were able to squeak in 2020 Sweetheart Dinner, and then of course the world shut down in March of that year. And so we were really able to bring together approximately 250 people. We had social distancing, cleaning, and making sure that our guests were safe, and we really enjoyed the opportunity. And it was one of our largest fundraising opportunities. Team 82, which was out of Wilson High School, who graduated in 1982, just did an incredible job soliciting for the event, and we also had a different way of soliciting this year that year, utilizing St. Bonaventure students. And so it was a class project with them, and it was just very successful. The mood was great. People were happy to be together again, and it really was a wonderful opportunity to celebrate. We're coming back again in 2023 in March. So I think people like that better than the February time period. You've got a little better chance of not being piled in by snow. So we are planning to do that again.
Yep, so we had traditionally always done it the Friday right before Valentine's Day. So we're keeping that theme, certainly for this year, but we're moving back the date. Again, just weather alone. That certainly, in the planning stages, it makes it a little nicer on our staff as well, because Christmas is just right on top of Valentine's Day when you start planning these things. But yeah, so March 31st is our date this year. So if you're looking to maybe make an early Christmas present, we will have tickets available here before Christmas. So we'll have those available on our website. But yeah, if you want to bring just yourself or your significant other a friend or something like that, or a whole crew and bring a whole table. We'd love to have you, again, at the Sheraton Niagara Falls on, March 31st.
Right, right.
So moving forward, also in the spring was a new kind of activity that we had just launched out. It was started by Sister Beth Brosmer, who is the longtime executive director at Heart and Soul. She recently retired and I believe came to our board pretty much immediately.
Yes,
You
yes.
got to facilitate
I
it.
told her prior to her retirement, we had first dibs on her as a board member, and I'm pleased that she was able to accommodate us. The gratitude campaign was really her brainchild of talking about how there are groups of individuals, especially public workers, post office, Department of Works individuals, crisis service workers, others who really do not get a lot of thanks. You know, they're there in an emergency, and they're there when they're needed. They're tireless in the work that they do, and so it would be nice to give them a little bit of praise once in a while. So the gratitude campaign took coffee and donuts in the morning to several of these entities. We started with the postal workers, I believe, in Niagara Falls, and then it was the Department of Works in Niagara Falls as well, and then the Niagara County Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Their crisis services unit, we were able to give them a little bit of thanks as well. So it was a wonderful opportunity to say thank you for the work that you do in the community. Thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for taking care of our properties and our homes and things along those lines. And so the gratitude campaign hopefully will come back in January. Things have been a little hectic right now for everybody, I think, to take the time and even just to express gratitude. But certainly if you have the opportunity as viewers or donors, please take time to thank the people that don't often get thanked. So that was really a very highly successful campaign that we were really happy to spearhead.
Absolutely, and that was so much of what Sister Beth was looking for, that you know, we would have these events and things to be able to get some traction in media or social media and such, but really just to spur action, right? These are the ways that maybe community missions ourselves would be looking to do something like that, but there are plenty of ways that you yourselves, can really think of people maybe in your life that makes some sense to think, but yeah, and just in your own way, just to be spurred into action and gratitude, certainly during this this holiday season as well. Busy times, of course, all throughout the year as we kind of go through. That was a lot of the spring and summer months that we focused on the gratitude campaign, and then another fundraiser that we have each summer is our golf tournament. So golf tournament happened, that was August 1st, I believe, this past year. So typically we just move back the day, basically the same time. So if you're a golfer, July 31st, go ahead and mark your calendar for 2023 is our current plan, at least, and certainly we'll have lots of updates on our social media or our website talking about that. But thankfully, the golf tournament is probably the one, I would say, very few fundraising events, I would guess, throughout Niagara County that did not have to take a pause with the pandemic. So we have been able to continue that one on.
Right. Obviously, being outside was helpful. You're not in an enclosed space. Golfers seem to go regardless, whether it's a weather issue or pandemic, they play golf. And one of the new features that we had at this year's golf tournament were items from the Bills. They've, certainly, go Bills. They've certainly rallied, and people are just about anything for the Bills these days. So, so that was a great opportunity to showcase some of their merchandise and benefit the agency at the same time. So that was a connection that was handled for us through a former chair of